are so beautiful, you are complete. You are the beggar you meet on the streets. You are divine and you are inclined to be. We are prayed to God.
The book contained the teachings, many of the things I had to share at the time, and it presented it in a way that anybody can read it. I think it's one of the first books where anybody can read it. Meaning some person may come and it doesn't overwhelm them with like consciousness and para-Brahman and, the absolute and in this type of way. People are very afraid of this and so on. And so she broke it down into a very palatable account while remaining true to the words and to my teachings and everything like that. And so for this reason, I feel it was very, very useful because it's widely accessible now, but it still is very faithful to the truth of what is shared. No? So it is good for everybody, including people who are here also now. Somebody came and said, actually it was expressed so well in here that it helped me to understand something that I was not quite getting, So I feel for this reason it is good, and the book I think had to be shrunk down a bit to be the size that it is now. So I feel this is a book also you would be able to give to your parents or to your to your children or friends who may be a little bit scared of cults or something. Wow, what do you get yourself into? And you can start to read and think, I can relate to that, and like this. You have to thank these ones here. Sumantra, Zenji, Gayatri. Who else is there?
It's Joel and Abe.
Joel is in the United States right now. And Abe was the first one. In a very short time, he represented the book with all the things we said. He had corrected so much. I think he's brilliant. Abe Gutterman, brilliant in that way. So I was very, very impressed. And we looked and we said, no, there's still things to change. And then for a while, we shelved it. We said, no, we had other things we want to focus on. And then somehow, at some point, I said, I like this book. And I would like to see it continue to, unfold. And so we opened up some dialogue again. And then this publishing company, Sounds True from the United States, they were interested in making a book with us. And then they chose this one. And so we started to work. And so this is the outcome of that liaison, this coming together of, Mante Sahaja team, and with Joelle. Joelle is from the United States, and she happened to be attending Satsangs anyway. She came here twice now for retreats with me. And it turned out that she was someone, she freelance?
Yeah. And
she was somehow...
she was approached by
Sounds True to look to work with this book, and so she got into it and somehow changed the way in which it was ordered and so on, and said, okay, she worked with it. She came to Satsang. She was very much in Satsang, so I trusted that voice. Any true book that explores into truth is not always going to make sense. There's some place where it will depart from making sense, and it will start to act directly upon the heart in ways that you will not be able to understand. Just somehow you're brought to a new dimension of understanding, but you won't know how. The truth works like that. It doesn't have to be always palatable to the mind. Sometimes some people, they don't understand. As you know, some people come to Satsang, they don't speak English. Animals also, they come to satsang, they're not understanding any English. They're Portuguese. Also. But they are responding to the energy of satsang. So there are other expressions of language which are not verbal or oral tradition. It is to do with the synchronicity of the heart, the vibration of the consciousness, and that the beings feel in synchronicity, and they just feel to be there. And in just being there, and I've had many stories like that, where people come to satsang, they don't understand anything, but they stayed, they even fall asleep, they wake up changed. Something has happened, and they start to feel, oh, you know, I really like this place. I really like how I feel here, you know. So this is something that is good. So I feel that I hope it really gets into the hand of those who it works like that anyway, who really can find something. And what is good about it, it always brings your attention back to the self. Any book that can do that, it keeps bringing your attention back to the self. It doesn't end in the person. It doesn't speak to you. It may start and you think you're being spoken to like a person, but you end up just kind of in the space of emptiness. And that would be good.
We found that when we were editing, sometimes some of the feedback of the people reading it as we were editing was that it doesn't, maybe this doesn't follow this logically, and maybe that should be there. But then that also was relevant to where it was, because the way that you speak and point, it's not a straight linear line. It's not A, B, C all the way through. And so it was a beautiful challenge to arrange the material in topics, because it doesn't necessarily always lend itself to that. Like inquiry is all the way through the book. Yes. Even in the relationship chapter. Like
relationships do need to inquire. You know, if I have to say, vast and sky greater than space. I mean, it still gets you thinking, you know, what are they talking about? I don't know what they're talking about. Let me see. In fact, there's so much in our human culture that we speak about, and you know, somehow speculate and ponder and about things. The most natural, the most simple thing in the whole world. And we talk so much about how to get to this place and how it is something. It's really amazing. It really is amazing. But it has to be gone through. It has to be, because something happened. I gave an example one time. You cannot forget who you are. You cannot remember who you are. It is already there before the possibility of forgetting and remembering came. You know. But then we learned that you can forget, and you learned that you can remember. And because they became so deep, then we believed them into becoming truths. And so we start to experience that we can forget ourselves. And start to experience that if we try hard enough, you will remember yourself. But the whole thing is a con. The whole thing is not true. You see. And the whole of this universe is built up like that. It is so sublimely simple that a belief came that we are this. And once this belief came, every other thing could come. Then awakening to what we are, you know, it's still in the dream. It was there before concepts were born. It was there before the first word came. It was there before Om. It never changed. It was there before creation. It was there before creation and dissolution. And the act of creation did not affect it one iota. All this dream had to come. And if there's a dream, there has to be a dreamer also. And both the dream and the dreamer are dreamed also. I noticed that whenever I spoke about relationships, even people were snoring before. So I said, it's a very hot subject, so let's try and talk about it. So many people came and it was very funny.
It's true, Babaji, that when people come to you new, fresh, they inevitably ask these questions, no? What will happen to my relationship? Will I still be able to work? What about my children? Like, these questions come up when people are new.
Yeah,
I feel that this book will answer some of those.
They feel that somehow spirituality is making a huge sacrifice. It's like turning your back on the world, you know, in some kind of way. And I said, but no. It cannot be like this. If you think about it, work it out too much in your mind, it might feel like that. But it puts you in the best possible position to flow in life in every or so many different ways, without planning or preparing so much for each expression. It just, everything is so automatic. Whatever you're doing, everything becomes so much more easy. Haven't you found like that?
Yes.
It becomes much more easy. Everything is much easy. Then you're not worried. Nothing like it. Nothing like the true spirit. Nothing at all. Nothing you can practice your whole life, become a super expert on any particular thing, and it cannot compare to that awakening inside your heart. Nothing can compare to that. It's far beyond anything. Far beyond anything you can think of. People sometimes they want to know, how can you live without having some clear ideas about where you're going and what you're going to be doing and so on. And then my dilemma is, but how can you live with those ideas? And so we have some major misunderstanding. Only when you stop thinking life, you can be. You can be in the being. Otherwise, your thinking about life compels you into personhood. Because only the person is concerned and worried about it. If I don't do this, this may not happen, and if I'm late, then maybe I'll miss. This is person. No heavenly being thinks like that. But we have such strong concept that there is something, there is a virtue to be thinking like that, and to to be strategizing. It appears like some kind of virtue. And then we miss, because no value is given. There's no understanding that, life doesn't have to be the outcome of your mind's projections. You have to be totally open to the highest expressions of consciousness than living underneath the cloud of human consciousness, where you're living always with a concept of your own limitations. If I could put it across, then I'd have to say to you, if you are living under the notion of your potential as a human being, you're wasting your time here, because you're already setting the dial, you're setting already the graphic equalizer on the lowest possible level. You have to be open to the world of impossibilities. You can't be thinking of thought, what's possible. What's possible and impossible is drowning the human mind, immersing it into just, what I'd call mediocrity. You never can produce anything magnificent. If it's magnificent, it's within the human paradigm already. Then you're only functioning within the body-mind conditioning. You're not acknowledging your divine origin. Not open to it. You must come to believe and to accept. Are you from God or not? You see? Then God does not know limitation. You must at least have this attitude. And you have to be told to have this attitude, because if you're not told, you automatically go into live underneath the cloud of conditioning, which tells you what is possible for you, what's not possible for you. And your ambitions, they always will stay they're always within, always within phenomenality. Meaning that it's always in the land of the perishable. How much energy we spend, how much blood, sweat and tears we spend, only to possess what is ephemeral, what is momentary, what is perishable. And in order to enjoy the perishable, you have to be perishable also. Do you realize this thing or not? This is a huge, huge mistake in the human kingdom. Nobody tell you differently. No politician, no priest, no teacher, no parent is telling anybody this. We are only working for what is ephemeral. The ephemeralness of nature is a natural thing. Within the realm of change, what is changeful is natural, is fine. But have you considered how much energy is being put into possessing what is only impermanence? When someone is searching for the truth of who they are, when you're searching for the truth of who you are, you're discovering the timeless. Time cannot hold you, because time is saying, look, I am time. I eat everything that you see. Whatever is the product of your mind and your senses, I eat them, I take them. God give them to me. What will become of you? The best, some archaeologists in 2,000 years find your teeth somewhere. With some toothpick and toothbrush. They say, this one, there was a woman between 25 and 38. At least if you belong to someone, to a Christ or a Krishna who has discovered your timelessness even. Then at least when the world remembers them, you are embodied in them. You see, but if you are just living for bread and butter, of course you are still eternal in your but because the belief, who are you today? The person you believe you were yesterday. The one who went to bed last night believing who they are as that woke up today to be you today. You are continuing in a tradition of limitation. But when you are timeless, every moment you are born fresh. You are fresh. In fact, not born, unborn. If your history is captured only in your resume, in your what you did when you were 15 years old, who your parents were, this is perishable things. Who remember? Sometimes I go to car boot sale. Many of you are told I like going flea market. I see sometimes albums there that were lovingly put together by some people of their families, grandma, grandpa, the dog, everything like that is in there. Okay? And it is down on the floor, rain falling on it, people stepping on it. People taking up pages to make up something to cover their head. It has no value for them. What was so precious for you has no value for someone else. Grandma's teapot fall on the ground. Hey, don't worry about it, mate. What was sentimentally valuable for you, not valuable for somebody else. The value is where? In you. Somebody got one teacup from their grandmother. Grandmother grew up with this teacup from she was even a child, and everything this teacup. And this person goes, keep this thing, going to value it. They saw a collection of the same teacups. Somebody have the same teacup. So, oh my God, there are other teacups like this. The person says, yes, what you've got there? I say, I've got one as well like this. These are my grandmother's. Very valuable. So let's have a look. Are you comparing to me? Somebody sneezed. You forgot which one was your grandmother. There's another 7 look identical to grandmother one. And you say, oh, excuse me, which one was my one? They say, oh, I don't think it was this one. No, I think I put it here, no? So, Jesus, no. It's the same. No, it's not the same. My grandmother's lips is on one of them. Oh my God, what have you done? Please, let me look. Can't make a difference. What happened? Suffering come. The cup is not suffering. The cup is not happy. I found my relatives is not happy. But if somebody's suffering, why? Attachment, isn't it? And it's not easy. And we understand as well too. Yes. Yeah, Granny used to hug this one and stuff like that. It wasn't hugging that one. But now you don't know which one it is. This is the cost of attachment. Does it matter? Yes. If it matters to you, it matters. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But these attachments can so preoccupy our mind that you postpone freedom. For teacup. Not joking. For teacup, you postpone freedom. Then you start to blame God. How could God let it happen? Just like these things. So your resolve has to be so pure. You have to know what belongs to phenomenality and what is timeless and pure. What belongs to time and what is timeless. You must know that without having to think about it. You must know that in a crisis. And release yourself immediately from it. That's how you must know it. And we have to contemplate it over and over again, because sometimes you falsely think, on the day I'll be radiant. On that day I'm so good at what I've known now. But on that day you may find that you are all over the place. If you have learned something and it's only retained mentally, it will not stay with you in a moment of crisis. It will collapse. It will not be there. Only that which you have made your own, that will not leave you. It's easy to feel sure when you're not tested. In a moment of test you will see, where things are. Sometimes you may hear something, and also from myself you forget it. Then you're trying to remember, what did he say? I've forgotten it. What to do? Go to the self. Forget about it in the self. Just be the self. And you don't have to worry to try and find what I say. Because whatever I say, if it is truth, it's in the self. Just be the self. We all understand that, no?
Yes.
Just be the self. Sometimes the mind manifests like, oh, you've forgotten something really, really important. What to do? Stay as the self. Stay as the self. Don't worry about it. When you get hurt about something, if you can't ignore it, investigate it. Who exactly is hurt? And don't be cynical. Don't think you know the answer. Just try and identify the sense of the entity or the assumption of the one who is all upset, and this personal feeling. Just quietly try to identify. And you will come to see not the one who is upset, but the one who is observing all of it. That this one is not trapped in the bubble of any scenario. You may find nobody's upset, but there's some upsetness going on. And that upsetness can be okay. It's okay that upsetness can happen. But don't copyright it. Oh yeah, but me. Or sometimes there's a place to be upset, a place for a bit of sadness. Don't make it so personal. We look for who is the person, who is the one who is so, who wants to make a story, who wants to keep the evidence, who has got dates and times planned. Look for this one. And your looking will disprove its reality. Like that. So. Okay. Thank you.
You are so beautiful, you are complete. You are the beggar you meet on the streets. You are divine and you are inclined to be. Well, I pray to God that you will be free, yeah. 'Cause I want you to run, feel the grass on your feet.